If you felt like the 2025 Los Angeles market was operating on its own set of rules this year, you are not alone. It was a year where rates jumped around, inventory stayed painfully tight, and certain pockets of the city behaved completely differently from others. And when you actually look at the data, the trends make a lot more sense than they seem to in real time. I'm Keri White, real estate agent in beautiful Los Angeles, and every week I try to make sense of what's happening in this market in a grounded, more like, this actually helps me kind of way. So you can stay informed, calm, and strategic. If you want to stay ahead of the trends, hit subscribe and feel free to share this with someone who might be tracking their home's value and needs a hand. Today we're looking at the 2025 year-end recap for LA, and there's a lot involved here. How interest rates shape the ebb and flow of demand, how prices held up kind of in spite of everything, the days on market, what inventory did, the very different story between condos and single-family homes, how the wildfires shifted behavior and insurance, and neighborhoods that stayed unquestionably strong. And a couple of moments from my own clients that really capture what 2025 felt like on the ground. So rates were the invisible driver of the year, not because they were high, but because they kept moving just enough to influence confidence. For most of 2025, rates sat in the high sixes to low sevens, with a brief couple dips in the mid sixes, even close to the bottom of six, that immediately brought buyers off the sidelines. I saw this in real time with a couple listings that were just sitting on the market. And when the rates dropped, all of a sudden the buyers came in, we got into escrow. Nothing changed about the house. It was just these buyers felt a little bit more oxygen, I guess. Pricing this year didn't surge across the entire city, but the pockets absolutely behaved very differently. Citywide, the median sale price hovered around 1.02 million, basically flat compared to last year. It's been roughly $1 million across the city for the last 2 or 3 years. On the broader west side though, the median sold price was roughly 1.64 million in late 2025, which was actually about an 11% increase year over year. In the higher end pockets like Brentwood, Santa Monica, Mar Vista, the numbers were even more pronounced. Brentwood's median price was around 2.9 million, which was up over 50% compared to last year. Mar Vista's median price was around 2.2 million, up 10%, and north of Montana and Santa Monica, the median price was roughly 3.3 million. So it wasn't a uniform story, but the through line was pretty clear. This 2025 market was very unpredictable and very uneven. But despite these high rates, high prices, there's clearly a real belief behind home ownership in the city of Los Angeles. So days on market was probably the biggest headline of the year and the one that threw people off the most. Back in 2021, homes were selling in under 30 days, most under a week, truly. And in early 2022, when rates were still in the threes, the average days on market stayed well below 30 days. But as the market shifted, that number kept climbing. And in 2025, we hit 60 days on market. 60 days. For me, it was fine. For buyers, feeling good. For sellers, talk about total anxiety. Seeing this kind of change in days on market totally throws people off. That's why we always like to keep our sellers informed of these trends so they can see it in black and white. So this days on market doesn't signal a crash at all. It's just a slower, kind of more intentional market where buyers get to take their time. They get to compare, think carefully, but also they still have to move quickly when a home fits their criteria. So inventory also shifted a lot in a real way this year. By October of this year, we saw an almost 47% year over year increase. And that's compared to last year, 2024, when we saw about a 34% rise. So on paper, this seems crazy and it seems like tons of homes are flooding the market. But remember, we're not even at the levels that inventory was back in 2019. Speaking to that, the month's supply has pushed up. LA has moved from about 1.8 to 2.6 last year, and this year it was about 3.5 months of inventory. So it's not a flood of inventory and it's not a market reversal. It's simply more breathing room. Right now, the market is split straight down the middle. It's not slow everywhere, it's not fast everywhere, it's truly just uneven. One home will get multiple offers, another spend 60 days on the market untouched. You know, buyers feel a little stretched and sellers are trying to recalibrate. Deals are taking real skill to hold together. With inventory rising, agents are kind of burning out there, and the noise is really louder than what's actually going on. And this is where being aligned with someone actually working the market every day really, really matters. So let's talk about the condos and single family homes, because they were split in entirely two ecosystems this year. Condos saw a 32% increase in inventory and prices slowed. Buyers were paying more attention to HOAs, reserves, insurance, assessments. But single-family homes, on the other hand, most of them were selling with quite a bit of ease, depending on the pocket. It wasn't subtle. Single-family homes were the preferred asset class this year, and condos became the more affordable, possibly more negotiable entry point, depending heavily on the pocket or the building. So the wildfires added another layer we have kind of never dealt with here. Overnight home sitting received multiple offers for lease and for sale. There was a home in Cheviot Hills that was listed for $3 million that ended up going for $6 million because it was someone from the Palisades who just felt like they were back home. Crazy comps. At the same time, the fires reduced inventory in some neighborhoods, which redirected demand and kept pricing stronger than anyone had predicted for the year. So it was just one of those reminders that real estate can change dramatically, even overnight. So let's talk about the hottest pockets. Everybody wants to know. 2025, we had some loud neighborhoods out there. Santa Monica, Brentwood Glen, Mar Vista, Del Rey, Manhattan Beach, Studio City. We even saw a lot of people heading to Orange County and Santa Barbara. And you saw these fire-impacted people flocking to these areas, and at the same time, move-up buyers were still wanting to be in what's considered some of the best pockets of the city. So there was so much competition this year. And looking ahead to 2026, I really don't see a dramatic shift in this. I see maybe a more steady one. People will continue making decisions based on life transitions, not the headlines, and the sellers who take the time to position their homes well and are realistic will continue to always do really, really well. If you want to stay ahead of the trends and not overwhelmed by them, hit subscribe. And if you're sitting on equity and trying to figure out whether 2026 is the right moment for you, please reach out. I'm always happy to give a clear, personalized read without any pressure or agenda. Come see us at Human Element Real Estate. I'm Keri White, and I will see you guys next week.